unspecial day. My building is currently doing construction, so my main room that I typically film all this in has gone through some visual changes as well as some audio changes. So I'm here right now so that we can have our breakfast. Mine is a cup of coffee. I actually had something before this, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this or not. So we didn't film because I was kind of worried that they were going to just pop up. The maintenance guys were going to pop up, the plumbers, and start cutting into walls and cutting into a wall they've already cut into to remove a pipe to replace it. And I don't want all that disruption on this. But at this moment, I can hear them working on stuff downstairs, so they're at least not going to be here for at least a tiny little bit. Yeah. How are you? How was your breakfast? Mine was okay. I had a egg and bread sandwich, some condiments. It was nice. My cup of coffee. I'll figure out a way to situate all this. Let me see what to tell you about the week. I've been playing with this idea because I decided to buy a class on domestique or domestica. I'm not sure exactly how it's spelled. I haven't really looked at it just yet. But it's on making like clay figures and sculpting and stuff. I used to do stuff like that a long time ago. I've kind of done everything. One thing I think I haven't done is make paper. Though I may have already done that also. I'm not sure. In that, I've just been kind of busy trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. My studio's been nice. The light in the studio is a little funky, so I brought in a secondary light for right now. It used to be in the bedroom. We have an overhead light bedroom. It's just kind of nice to be able to, turn it on, and it's just on. So we like to sleep with a fan on, so it's kind of one of those things. I feel pretty good for the most part. I've been journaling a lot. I have, which I didn't ever really get into until quite recently, but it has been kind of a eye opener in a way. I like the idea of having an idea, being able to like put it down, not put it on like a social media thing, and just like ruminate with it and come back to it and think about it. It's a good, beautiful time. For those who remember, this is one of the shirts that used to be part of the channel. I haven't really made any new merch for a while now. I keep thinking about it, but I don't know if I'm quite ready to get back into that fold. I might do some more stickers. Those seem to make me happy. I like to put them with my orders anyways. So when people order books or art or anything, I always try to stuff stickers and stuff in there. Stickers typically are like these hologram like crowns, and I have some weird little luchadors that I made. Gotta make some more of these guys. They're funky. I think I'll make like a different one this time though. I like doing it. I just think it's fun. I've been reading a lot of comics and a lot of books recently, and the main book that I've been reading, I got my bag here, which is like a rare occasion that I have my actual bag with me. But yeah, it's this book by Colin Malloy called The Stars Did Wander, Darling. Really, really good book, actually. Kind of a Goonies-esque type story, for those who understand that reference. I have also been recording a lot on my voice recorder, which is this little mini guy. And I like him because I can just carry him anywhere. And the audio is okay. That's how I will describe it. The audio is okay. It's not amazing audio, but it's good enough. It's scratchy and kind of ugly. So it's good for taking like notes. It's a little bit good for recording actual things I want to put on a podcast or a video or anything of that nature. And then This is my crazy little journal of all my little things. And it feels pretty good. I like it. It's got a nice feel to it. I bought this cover a long time ago, and I've just been using it for all of mine, and that's worked out really well. I still obviously have my sketchbook. I have been doing my everyday more podcasts. Yes, there is a new podcast that came out. Hey, right. There is a new podcast episode that recently came out. It is the first of season 5 of the Painter Files podcast. And it's been a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed recording that one. It's about 20 or so minutes. It's by far not one of the longer podcast episodes that I've done. But I don't know, it felt right within the time span in which it was coming about. So I'm trying to put that one out maybe once a month. Cuz I'm so busy with all these other things that are going on that I knew I could at least commit myself to that. So once every month, your January one is out. You can find it everywhere. Spotify, once again, is the devil. They they only count the listens that I get from Spotify. So do with that what you will. If you go to my website, jawsblakeblog.com, you can listen to it. It's got a nice little setup and a little player. It'll put you on new episodes and old episodes and all that stuff. But things are what they are, kids. I like this kind of better because it just kind of makes sense for me right now. YouTube has always been kind of this destination for me with a lot of art videos. There's almost like 900 art videos on this channel, which is crazy. A lot of them, probably about 79% of them, are all art painting videos. Some are before I learned how to edit properly. Some are before I learned about copyrighted music. So they're a little different, but they're good. They're really good videos of like what I consider some really kind of startup art of mine from a long time ago, and I've just been kind of going from there. I've been working on this guy quite a lot, actually. If you'd like to see little pictures and pieces, I'm always putting out posts on Instagram as well as YouTube as far as like little visuals of the art. So I like that. I was listening to a discussion today about how this artist feels, a digital artist that I know felt that AI art is going to fall off, as he put it, which I can understand to an extent. Like there's an endorphin kind of rush that people get from like making art, and if you use these programs, I assume you're getting the same endorphin rush, or not the same, hey cat, but maybe kind of a interesting kind of feel for it. So it's interesting. Hola. Yeah, it's just interesting. But they think basically the concept they had was they feel that the whole AI art aspect of it is kind of just a fad. Like it's almost like the jelly art style and stuff like that like people are doing for a while. Like they do it and they feel good about it, but like without, as an artist, I guess kind of the best way I can describe it. As an artist, my style has changed periodically throughout my ability, or my style. I don't know if it's changed, but it's grown. And when you're not the one actually making the art, it can't really grow. You know, there's no discerning. Nah, what's the word? Specific. We'll use that. There's no specific things that you would change about your art to make it similar to what you're looking for? Your art to then move forward on. Like I leaned more as time went by. I've leaned more into kind of like the shadows and the dark as far as like my faces go. And at one point in time, I was more about the colors than I was about how I kind of worked my inks. And then I became like super in depth in like my ink washes. And then I kind of got to the point where I started doing both. And I think like all these little kind of things, these little dials and knobs being turned as far as how your art changes periodically, but still kind of holds a part of you in it. Like I think a lot of old art that a lot of artists do, you can still kind of tell it's them because there's like a little tiny quality to it that's strong. Like with my friend Kat, her the eyes that she does in her pieces have always kind of felt very distinctive. So even as she changes the ways in which she does artworks and where she does them and the mediums she does, she's still kind of still going for the kind of round eye, like aesthetic, the way she does a pupil, stuff like that. Like they're very distinctive. It's very beautiful, but it's a part like when you go to see her work, these are things that you look for, you know. I can't think of how many goofy people I've known in my life who've like tried to show me like a fake painting that they want to pass off as a joke or otherwise as like a Pollock. And there's distinctive qualities to a Pollock painting that like you wouldn't know unless you've looked at Pollock's work for more than a couple of seconds, you know. There's distinctive parts. There's one of the things I remember about Pollock was Pollock want his images to did not want his paintings the things in his paintings to look like objects. Like he worked really hard to try and stay away from that. And so when people try and show like a smock or a mess or whatever, they don't realize that like it's intentional. So they don't see how like their silliness. It's funny, but it's to those who know better, it doesn't fool anyone. And a lot of art has that. Like it's very interesting how that works, how that comes together. I'm excited for people who've never really made things before to feel empowered to make art. Like I don't feel like it's one of those art is not one of those things I feel like you need to gatekeep. But I do feel like if you want recognition, you kind of have to earn it in the art world. Like you can't copying me ain't gonna get you there, you know. Copying my friends ain't gonna get you there. It's just not enough, you know. Cheers to you if it starts you on your art path. I think that'd be amazing to see the artists who are inspired by other artists, who are inspired by computers mimicking that art, and then start making their own art off of that. Like that's like some Inception shit, you know. Yeah, I hate gatekeeping in the art world. I don't think it's necessary. I think the weird part about gatekeeping in the art world is typically it is done to hold back women and a lot of times people from different backgrounds. So, different orientations, different sexualities, different identities, different races, different different wealth ranges, poverty, etc. Like the weird thing I think I've noticed throughout the years is some of the best artists I've ever seen don't have a penny to their names. Like they work paycheck to paycheck and they make some of the best art I've ever seen in my life. You know. There's very few artists that I've seen that have everything at their disposal constantly and still make good art. It's weird to see people it's weird to see like your heroes fall off a little, you know? Like they're not hungry anymore. They don't feel the urge to like quench their own artistic endeavors. I don't think it's really about us. I think the joke that a lot of people think is they think social media is about us. It's not about us. It's about the people posting. Like they are making for themselves, and you are partaking in that experience. Typically, I think when they start making for you, that typically is part of the decline. Honestly, it's kind of a goods thing where like I can make something that'll satiate you, that you'll really enjoy, but I can't constantly do that. I can do it every once in a while. My little plant is dying, as you can see. Well, it's not dying, but it definitely needs water. So we'll do that. You want me to water the plant for you? High quality content for you. All right, give me a second. I've been out of the studio for the last couple of days, so he has not been given proper sustenance. I need to put him in the window a little, but it's been so cold recently that I didn't want him to freeze up. But he's okay. He's still alive. He's still soft. He's not crunchy or anything. It's just what happens sometimes. He takes a little break from existence and then does what he does. I mostly have just been trying to work on this guy. And move this out of the way so you can see him fully. So it's covered in like words mostly. The bones are covered in words. If you look on my page, you'll see stuff like that. You'll see all the details and all the little bits and pieces. In a way, they're all words. I'm always interested to see which ones people see first. So if you see images of these, shout out the words you think you see first. There's some that are there to be funny. There are others that are there sporadically. There are others that are there purposefully. So, I like it. I'm not sure what's left of it though. You know? Like you work on something long enough and you start to kind of lose the narrative a little. And so you got to figure out what's left to do. Galeras, I have one left. So if you want to, my hero's retired at the moment. Yeah, I mean that's real. If anybody wants the last zine, let me know. I've got this last one to ship out. So hit me up. Let me know the craziness in which you enjoy the work. It's a very cool book. I like it. It made me happy. Do you guys want to see how big this thing is? I always tell people this is a big painting, and they never get to actually see it for how it actually is. For scale, this is the size of that painting. It's a very big boy. So there's this one. A lot of the other ones from the book are actually much smaller paintings, so they're not all like that, but I feel pretty happy with that. You know, I feel like there was something really wonderful about making that book. So I'm very happy that people got to see it. I think I'm going to try and figure out what rest to do for the day, honestly. I've got quite a few ideas. Bye, Kat. Thanks for hanging out with me. Got a few ideas on what I want to do. So I'm going to get back to that. I hope you're well. May all your days be wonderful and unique and productive for you. Specifically for you. Not for the world, for you. Alright. Love you, Galeras. Paint her out. Ciao.